Hi friends, we're going to make these cute 3 little ornaments using chipboard ornaments from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 6-pack. So let's get started. So here's the chipboard ornaments. Like I said, they come in a 6-pack and they're kind of cute, but we're going to make them a lot cuter. They have these little sticky pads on the back. You just kind of peel those off. And then I didn't like the bow, so I'm going to use my little scraper knife and get that off, and I'm going to take the twine off as well. And then I'm going to paint them with white Adirondack white chalk paint by Full Cart. I'm just using a makeup sponge that I get on Amazon, and chalk paint seems to work really well on chipboard. And for starters, I'm just kind of pouring it on. I don't know if that was the best way to do it or not, but it worked on this first one. But I end up putting some on my little parchment paper for the next 2. And this takes 2 coats on the front and the back. And so I use my little heat tool to dry them really fast in between coats, and I get both sides just covered really well. And so I'm just going to start off using my Posca markers, and these are acrylic paint markers, and they have been a game changer for me. I haven't used the green yet, so you got to poke it on something for a few times to get the paint to come down. So I'm just going around all the edges with just green dots, just to bring in some green and red Christmassy colors. And this one's going to say, I'm going to use the red marker and write "Let Him In," as in let Christ in. And so I'm drying those little green dots, and now I'm going to use my red marker to write "Let Him In." And just kind of freehanding it, and it turned out pretty good. And I'm going to dry that too. So now I'm just cutting some twine and putting that in there first. So I bring those tails through the loop and pull it up, and then I tie a knot at the top, however long you want it to hang. And then I'm just trying to decide what to do with my bow. So I'm just using some basic red and white striped ribbon, making a regular shoestring bow, trimming it up. Then I'm using a little bit of twine, and I have a variety of little keys. So I'm just trying to decide which one I want to use. And I decide on that one. And I'm putting a tiny bit of twine in it, and then I'll cut off the excess, and then I will glue that on first where I know the bow is going to be. So the key will hang down below the bow. I had a hard time getting my glue to come out of my my glue gun here, so I don't know if I had a plug or just what, but I got it to work off camera. So now I'm hanging that there and just gluing it where I want it to hang, and then I'm going to glue that bow right on top of it. And that's all I'm doing for that first ornament. So that was super quick and super easy, as you can see, as we all need to let Christ in this Christmas season. So now I was thinking I'd just do one more, but so I start painting this one. I'm tearing the stuff off this one as well, and it was kind of harder to get off this than the first one. And I'm painting this, and then I end up painting a third one as well. So again, I'm doing 2 coats on the front and back. And the chipboard just really drinks that up. So on the front, it's kind of got a smooth, kind of shiny type of paper, and that is harder to cover up than the back chipboard. And I go around all the edges as well, as you can see. And as you can see, it takes a couple coats. So I've got 2 more ready to go. So for the first one, I'm going to use this rusty star that I've had in my stash. And I'm going to start out by using Tim Holtz Distressing Ink in Vintage Photo as the color. I'm just going around all the edges, and then I'm kind of dabbing it on my paper towel, making sure it's not too heavy, and then going over the top part as well, just to kind of rough it up, not rough it, but give it that more rustic look. And then I'm going to glue that rusty star in the center toward the bottom. And now I've had this little Christmas wreath that I just keep clipping pieces of the pine off. And I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put a big glob of glue right there in the center. And then hold each end in that glue until it sets up. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to use twine bow, or I had these pre-tied bows. They're burgundy and check kind of, and so I thought that looked more a little rustic and vintage looking. And that was super easy. I decided to kind of make the back match the front. Then I'm just going to tie some twine to make a hanger. Do the same thing I did on the other one. And as you can see, that one was super easy and quick as well. So now the third one, I'm going to make a little snowman. So I'm using this light pink, getting some on my small little round dauber, and then I get the excess off of on my paper towel. I'm just making some really bright pink cheeks. Then I'm going to use my Posca markers again and make him some black eyes, add some dots for his mouth. I was trying to decide if I wanted to make just a squiggly line for his mouth, but I decided to go with the dots. Make sure that's clean or dry before I mess with it anymore. And I have these carrots that I got last spring at the Dollar Tree. So I'm just cutting the end off and trying to make sure the end is flat. And I'm just going to glue that right there in the center where his nose goes. I think that looks way cute. Now I'm using the white Posca marker and making a couple dots in each eye. Then I put 3 little dots in the pink of his cheeks. Then I almost forgot his eyebrows, but I remembered. And now I'm going to make him a little hat. So I thought first I'll lightly put some glue on it and fold up that edge there. Before I did that, I realized I want to put the hanging string on first, because I'm going to put the hat around the ornament hanger. So I'm doing it like the other ones, pulling those tails through, and I'm not going to tie it in a knot or trim it yet. I wanted to see where I got all the ornament done first, and then I will trim it up. So I'm gluing the front on, and then I will glue it completely in the back, meet up both those ends in the back. So I'm just tying some jute twine around the top there and keeping that ornament hanger twine right there in the center of his hat. I trim off the edges. And I'm just going to put a little button right in the center. So I have a variety of small little buttons. So I'm just grabbing one that I think will look good on that ticking fabric. And I'm going to take some other red and white ticking fabric strips that I have. And I'm just going to glue it around the bottom of his face, around his neck that isn't there. And I start gluing it on here and realize I faced it the wrong way. So I had to hurry and tear it off and turn it around. I had to re-put the glue back on. So I got that glued on back, and then I will come around and just put a dot of glue here and there and just kind of hold the strip of fabric where I want it to hang. And I'm going to bring that other one up over the top and down over it. And I could have put some greenery or a rusty star or a rusty bell or whatever just right there on his top of a scarf, but I decided to put just a little white snowflake that I have in my stash. So I'm just kind of, I cut the ends shorter, so I'm fraying the ends to make them match the rest. And this is where I'm finishing up gluing it and holding it in place where I want it to hang. And then I will put that snowflake on top. And that will be it for these 3 little ornaments. They were all 3 super quick and easy and very inexpensive because they're 6 on 1 card for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. So go grab you some. Thanks for watching. Have a whimsical day.